The man behind the white dentist coat wasn't just a husband or father. He was now an accused killer, and allegedly still plotting from behind bars. When James Tolliver Craig was arrested on March 19th, 2023, the evidence already looked overwhelming. His wife, Angela Craig, was dead from cyanide poisoning. Toxicology proved it. His own Google searches tracked his deadly curiosity. The poison deliveries traced back to his dental office. And his secret life, complete with affairs, debts, and lies, was coming to light fast. But even then, the story was far from over. Because once Craig was locked up, investigators discovered he wasn't done scheming. The evidence piles up. In the hours following his arrest, detectives executed search warrants on Craig's phones, laptops, and email accounts. Here's what they found. Google searches like, how to make a murder look like an accident? Can cyanide be detected in an autopsy? How much arsenic is fatal? Purchase records. Potassium cyanide, ordered from a chemical supply company. Tetrahydrozoline, eye drop chemical, researched and likely used. Arsenic ordered, but intercepted. Email evidence. Secret Gmail accounts used to make poison purchases. Communication with shipping providers using fake names. Physical evidence. A sealed container of potassium cyanide found in his office's break room. Surveillance footage showing Craig accepting the poison delivery. It was clear to investigators this was premeditated murder. But then came a twist no one expected. Cold calculations from a jail cell. Just weeks after being booked into the Arapahoe County Jail, James Craig allegedly began recruiting fellow inmates to tamper with the investigation. According to law enforcement reports, Craig made 2 separate proposals behind bars. Murder for hire plot. He allegedly asked an inmate to kill the lead detective on the case. The detective was central to building the prosecution's evidence. If he were removed, Craig may have believed the case could collapse. He reportedly offered the inmate $20,000 to carry out the hit. No money ever changed hands, but the inmate reported it immediately. Fake witness conspiracy. In another scheme, Craig allegedly tried to recruit jail inmates to testify falsely in court. He wanted them to say Angela committed suicide. He gave them specific statements to memorize, coaching them on how to present themselves as family friends or acquaintances. In exchange, he again promised large payments after their release. One of those inmates turned in written instructions that Craig allegedly passed through folded notes, detailing how to testify, what to say, and how to make it believable. Those notes were confiscated and became evidence in the case. The shattered illusion. As the case made national headlines, the portrait of James Craig, painted by prosecutors, was horrifying. Here was a man, deeply in debt, with over $2 million in liabilities tied to his dental business, living a double life, juggling affairs and financial collapse, researching poisons while caring for his wife at home, allegedly trying to cover up the murder even after arrest. And perhaps the most disturbing, Craig didn't act like a man mourning his wife. During Angela's final hospitalization, nurses noted how he sat quietly, typing on his laptop, even as she slipped into a coma. He told staff he was preparing billing records for patients. In reality, investigators believe he was texting his mistress, making plans for her to visit Colorado. Angela lay dying, and James was already replacing her. The mistress speaks. The Texas-based orthodontist with whom Craig was having an affair was also interviewed. According to reports, she was shocked to learn what had happened to Angela. She told authorities she had no knowledge of any poisoning and believed James was in the process of divorce. He had allegedly told her Angela was emotionally unstable and the marriage was over. She had visited Craig just days before Angela died, unaware that the woman whose home she was entering was actively being poisoned. She was not charged and is considered a cooperating witness. Prosecutors billed the case. By the time Craig appeared in court for his first hearing, the prosecution had compiled over 2,000 pages of digital evidence, toxicology reports showing cyanide and eye drop chemicals, surveillance footage and email logs, testimonies from jailhouse informants, financial records showing massive debt, affair communications and travel plans with his mistress. Prosecutors allege Craig saw Angela as an obstacle, to financial recovery, to romantic freedom, and to his new life. Rather than file for divorce, he planned the perfect crime. They described him as manipulative, calculating, and remorseless. The charges: on top of first-degree murder, James Craig faced additional allegations, including attempting to influence a public servant, solicitation of murder from jail, tampering with a witness, obstruction of justice. His bond was denied. He was ordered to remain in custody until trial, and the world waited to see whether the court would believe Craig's version of events or the prosecution's chilling account of a husband who weaponized trust and medicine to kill. As jury selection loomed in July 2025, the courtroom would hear every disturbing detail, from the poisons to the affair to Angela's final haunting words: "I think James is trying to poison me." But the defense, they had a plan of their own, and it started with blaming Angela herself. On July 15, 2025, jury selection concluded, and the trial of James Tolliver Craig, 47-year-old former Aurora, Colorado dentist, began in earnest. The courtroom was nearly full, media, family members, and legal observers all watching. Prosecutors opened their case. The narrative: Assistant District Attorney Ryan Brackley delivered the prosecution's opening statement. He alleged Craig intentionally poisoned his wife, Angela Craig, using potassium cyanide and tetrahydrozoline, a toxic chemical found in eye drops, as she lay hospitalized in March 2023. Prosecutors argued that Craig had planned the killing to escape mounting debt, extramarital affairs, and the claimed burden of family life. Brackley underscored that Craig administered a final, lethal dose of cyanide while Angela was in the hospital, stating, "He went in that room to murder her, to deliberately and intentionally end her life with a fatal dose of cyanide. She spent the next 3 days dying." Evidence preview. Evidence to be presented, Brackley said, includes toxicology linking Angela's death to cyanide and tetrahydrozoline poisoning, digital logs of Craig's Google searches about how to make poison undetectable and make murder look like a heart attack, records of poison delivery to his dental office, and surveillance confirming Craig signed for it, testimonies revealing Craig's attempted jailhouse conspiracy, offering money to inmates to kill the lead detective and manufacture false testimony that Angela committed suicide. The defense responds, painting the portrait of brokenness. Attorney Ashley Whittam, leading Craig's defense, conceded that Angela was indeed hospitalized. Poison was discovered in her system. But rather than murder, she portrayed Craig as a broken person, overwhelmed, not monstrous. She argued the marriage was dysfunctional. Years of infidelity, emotional strain, clouded by their Mormon faith, and Angela's desire to preserve the union. Whittam emphasized that while Craig had affairs, they were not newly initiated, and his wife knew of them. The suicide theory. Whittam advanced that Angela may have taken her own life. She described Angela as a private, emotionally fragile woman, possibly suicidal or self-destructive, not a victim of homicide. Her tone shifted to emphasize law enforcement's tunnel vision, that investigators focused on Craig early on, failed to search Angela's personal laptop or journal, and overlooked other possible sources. Residue-free containers, lack of direct forensic links, and anonymous jailhouse informants were flagged as unreliable evidence. Testimony that shook the defense. Daughters' testimonies. In testimony delivered mid-trial, 2 of Craig's daughters provided poignant, heart-shattering detail. Both denied Angela showed suicidal tendencies. She had plans, dreams for the future, including becoming a grandmother and moving the family to a dream home. She would talk to me about how fun it would be when I had kids of my own. She was so excited to be a grandma. The eldest daughter revealed Craig refused to authorize an autopsy, raising serious credibility issues. Crucially, the second eldest daughter testified Craig sent her written instructions from jail, asking her to fabricate a deepfake video showing Angela requesting poison. To simulate a suicide, he provided step-by-step guidance. Buy a cheap laptop with a prepaid card, access the dark web, create and plant a video, destroy the device afterward. Legal analysts called the testimony a devastating blow to the defense, arguing no innocent father would risk implicating his own child in criminal fabrication. Key battles. Motive. Prosecution. Exploiting financial pressure. Desire to be with another woman and to shed family responsibilities. Defense. Finances were manageable. Affairs were long-standing and not motive-defining. Craig allegedly acted in love and grief. Credibility of evidence. Digital searches and delivery records. Prosecution called them damning. Defense stressed no poison residue. Unexplored alternate explanations. Missing evidence like Angela's journal and full laptop. Called jailhouse witnesses snitches. Emotional underpinnings. Angela's video. Her recorded frustration claiming Craig had implied she was suicidal, not sick. Used to counter-defense suicide theories. Children's emotional damage. Craig already lost his wife. Now invoking them in deceptive schemes struck many observers as cruel and desperate. As jury deliberations near, what remains is a juxtaposition. On one side, prosecutors with forensic science, digital trails, and jailhouse conspiracies. On the other, a defense painting a man blindfolded by grief, mental strain, and religious conflict. Will the jury believe Craig's version of a devastated man, or the prosecution's account of cold-blooded murder disguised as care? Nurse and staff testimony. ER nurse Blaine Cullen recounted Angela's rapid decline on March 12, 2023, noting she was pale, sweaty, unresponsive with dangerously low oxygen. Craig was allowed out of the room, but later brought back after Angela began recovering. Office manager Caitlin Romero testified James was unusually restless around March 6, suddenly ordering a personal package, later revealed to contain potassium cyanide. She described a biohazard-marked foil package, which suspiciously matched Angela's symptoms, and reported immediately to police. Surveillance and package evidence. Security expert Rachel Mites confirmed Craig was seen entering the hospital with a bag, possibly used to smuggle the lethal dose past metal detectors. A pen-like injector wouldn't have set one off. Jennifer Harriman, from the jail mailroom, opened an inmate letter that contained instructions to recruit fake witnesses using code names. Part of Craig's plan to fabricate a suicide narrative. Digital trails and toxicology. Detective Molly Harris confirmed web searches from Craig's lab computer between February 27 to March 6, such as how many grams of pure arsenic will kill a human, a dose of tetrahydrozoline is fatal, and other poison-related queries. Harris also uncovered Amazon orders tied to Craig's hidden email for arsenic and oleandrin in late February. Shit he claimed was part of a test between husband and wife. Text messages and motive. Jurors heard dozens of intimate texts showing a slumping marriage. One from December 2022 had Angela writing, "You had a month worth of chances, but what you wanted with her was more important to you." February and March messages focused on Craig's efforts to be better, while Angela expressed growing suspicion and physical illness. On March 8th, Craig texted asking, "What are you hungry for? I'm kind of feeling a smoothie," echoing the method prosecutors believe he used to poison her. Daughters were but defense. Craig's daughters provided emotional testimony, directly countering the defense's suicide narrative. They said Angela wasn't suicidal. She was excited about becoming a grandmother and moving to a dream home. The second daughter revealed her father pressured her from jail to produce a deepfake video, making it appear Angela asked him to get poisons. Proof of Craig's alleged consciousness of guilt. Financial and business motive. Craig's former business partner, Ryan Redfern, testified that Craig's practice was losing money and Craig had broken down in tears over finances and affairs. A cyanide package was delivered just as Angela was crashing in the hospital. Craig tried to explain the cyanide purchase as a game of chicken, claiming Angela had suicidal ideation and couldn't acquire it herself. An account defense later argued could be self-harm, but no concrete evidence supported her being suicidal. Closing arguments and verdict looms. What the prosecution argued. Used scientific evidence. Cyanide and tetrahydrozoline in her system. Surveillance of the package delivery. Credible poison-related search history. Highlighted emotional and digital evidence. Text exchanges showing motive. Jailhouse letters about hushed witnesses. Daughter's courtroom accounts exposing Craig's effort to manipulate perception. Defense focus. Re-emphasized that no direct hands-on toxicology tied Craig to administering the poison. called Poison Search's curiosity and blamed jailhouse inmates for unreliable testimonies, pushed the suicide theory through emails, Chris's game of chicken story, and alleged investigative tunnel vision, arguing that key evidence like Angela's personal webcam or journal entries were overlooked. In early August 2025, the jury will decide, was James Craig an unhinged, calculating killer? Or was he a distraught, flawed husband falsely framed by circumstantial evidence? Stay tuned for the final chapter, the verdict, and what comes next.